The train began to slow down beyond Dadar and stopped only at its destination, Victoria Terminus. See, the train, the Jija Mata Express, began we started to slow down. Beyond means on the other side of Dadar and stopped only at its destination, that was Victoria Terminus. The station looked remarkably, means very much, neat and clean. The station looked remarkably neat and clean. The staff was mostly made up of Anglo-Indians and Parsis along with a handful, means some, of British officers. In this way, the staff was mostly made up of Anglo-Indians and Parsis along with a handful of British officers. As he means Gangadhar Pant, emerged means came out from the station. Gangadhar Pant found himself facing me in front of an imposing means impressive, grand building. As Gangadhar Pant came out from the station, he found himself in front of an impressive, a grand building. The letters on it, actually, some letters were written on the building, and the letters proclaimed is announced. The letters on it proclaimed means announced its identity, the identity of the building, to those who didn't know this Bombay landmark. In this way, the people who were new to this place could read the letters and could know where they were. See what was written on the building: East India House, headquarters of the East India Company. See, these letters were written. In this way, this building was the house headquarters of the East India Company. See, East India House, headquarters of the East India Company. Prepared as he was for many shocks, Professor Gatonde had not expected this. See, Gatonde was already prepared for many shocks, but he had not expected this. Now, what was this? Actually, he had not expected to see the East India Company ruling over India. The East India Company had been bound up, means ended up, finished up shortly after the events of 1857. At least that is what history books said. See, actually, Professor Gatonde had read in history books that the East India Company had been finished up shortly after the events of 1857. And when he saw that the East India Company was ruling over India, he was shocked, he was surprised. Yet here it was, not only alive but flourishing. He found that the East India Company was present in India, not only alive but flourishing. He found that it was not only alive but it was flourishing, it was developing, it was expanding its empire. So, history had taken a different turn, perhaps before 1857. He thought that history had taken a different turn. Turn means here course. He thought that history had taken a different course. Perhaps means probably before 1857. How and when had it happened? Now he wanted to know how and when it had happened. He had to find out. He thought that he would find out how it had happened. As he walked along Hornbill Road, as it was called, he found a different set of shops and office buildings. See, as Professor Gatonde walked along Hornby Road, as it was called, this road was called Hornby Road. He found a different set of shops and office buildings that were totally different from the shops and the office buildings of our real India. There was no handloom house building. Professor Gatonde found that there was no handloom house building. Instead, means in place of, there were boots and Woolworth departmental stores. He found that there were boots and Woolworth departmental stores, imposing offices of Lloyds, Barclays and other British banks. He found imposing, attractive, impressive, grand offices of Lloyds, Barclays and other British banks, as in a typical high street of a town in England. And these shops, these buildings were as they are found in a typical high street of a town in England. He turned right along Home Street and entered Forbes building. I wish to meet Mr. Binay Gatonde, please, he said to the English receptionist. He means Professor Gatonde turned right along Home Street. Professor Gatonde turned right along Home Street and entered Forbes building. I wish to meet Mr. Binay Gatonde, please, he said to the English receptionist. Now, who is Mr. Binay Gatonde? Actually, Mr. Binay Gatonde is the son of Professor Gatonde. And see, actually, he wanted to meet his son Binay Gatonde in the India of another world. Actually, we know that at this time Professor Gatonde is in the India of another world, and he wants to meet his son of this India of this world in the India of another world. See, I wish to meet Mr. Binay Gatonde, please, He said to the English receptionist. He told the English receptionist that he wanted to meet Mr. Vinay Gatonde. He requested the English receptionist to help him in meeting his son Vinay Gatonde. She searched through the telephone list, the staff list, and then through the directory of employees of all the branches of the firm. She means the English receptionist searched the name and the address in the telephone list. See, she searched through the telephone list to find out the name, the address of Mr. Vinay Gatonde. The staff list, she also searched through the staff list and then through the directory of employees of all the branches of the firm. She also searched through the directory of employees of all the branches of the firm to find the name and the address of Vinay Gatonde, but she could not find. She shook her head and said, "I am afraid I can't find anyone of that name either here or in any of our branches. Are you sure he works here?" She means the English receptionist shook her head and said that she was afraid she could not find any person of that name either here or in any of their branches. She asked Professor Gatonde if he was sure that Mr. Vinay Gatonde worked there. This was a blow, not totally unexpected. See, when he could not meet his son Vinay Gatonde, he could not find his address. This was a blow, but it was not totally unexpected because he had expected that he might not meet his son in the India of another world. If he himself were dead in this world, what guarantee had he that his son would be alive? He thought that he might have been dead in the India of another world. Then there was no guarantee that his son would be alive. Indeed, he may not even have been born. Really, it might be possible that Professor Gatonde himself might not have been born in the India of another world, and then it was impossible for him to meet his son Vinay Gatonde. He thanked the girl politely, means in polite manner, and came out. He means Professor Gatonde thanked the English receptionist politely and came out. It was characteristic, means quality of him, of Professor Gatonde, not to worry about where he would stay. It was his quality that he was not worried
about where he would stay. His main concern was to make his way to the library of the Asiatic Society to solve the riddle of history. Now, his main concern, his main worry, his main concern was to make his way, means to go to the library of the Asiatic Society to solve the riddle of history. Grabbing means taking a quick lunch at a restaurant. He made his way to the town hall. Grab means taking a quick means fast lunch at a restaurant. He means Professor Gatonde made his way, means bent to the town hall.